Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. It's the FA Cup and its fourth round FA Cup, the best, the biggest, the oldest domestic cup competition all over the world. It was like the first. I mean, you weren't even had professional teams playing in it back in the late 1800s. It's just unbelievable. And the romance, it's far from dead. I've got two absolute experts to go through the fixtures. I've picked like maybe 7 or 8. We've got tips for them. We've also got tips for games we're not going to cover. But I've got Martin, who's our Premier League analyst. And I've got the lower league top man, which is Dave. You might know him for UFC. But listen, he's just as sharp with the lower league teams. I'll come to you first, Dave. Dave, it's great to see you, mate. And I'll tell you what, the FA Cup, it still gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, the oldest competition in sport in history. There's nothing quite like it because, it gives the opportunity for now lower league teams like my team, Coventry, to, get a little bit of spotlight on them. And we've seen some shockers in recent years, Liverpool giving tough games with the likes of Shrewsbury. And, anything can really happen in the FA Cup. I believe you got a runners-up medal in the FA Cup as well, Flash.
Yeah, I don't like to talk about it because I was injured, so it hasn't really been used. And obviously, first is first, second is nowhere, Dave. But the big thing for me now is strength of lineups is really, really important. But with having no crowds, it means that these teams are only going to get revenue if they progress. So there's some teams that are really on a crest of a wave. They cannot afford to slip up, especially if they're at home.
Yeah, you see, that's the problem. You see, this lack of crowd will hurt them lower clubs who, may get that extra goal or that consolation goal to go into penalties at the end just through crowd support alone. That's taken away this time. But I still feel like the FA Cup always brings them unpredictable results. And I think we've still got a few more to come. I know the later the rounds progress and the further it gets closer to the quarters and the semis that them shock results tend to disappear. But we're still in the 5th round, so I think we've got a few more shockers left.
Yeah, well, everyone in the chat, remember, put your thumbs up. And if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means that we will notify you, and special shows like this, you'll get off the cuff. Also, press the link in description, and it'll take you over all the articles on soccer, football, NFL, NCAA, B, and even UFC, especially with the weekend we've got ahead. Martin, being an Arsenal fan, you got great memories of the FA Cup from your childhood to when you're middle-aged, and now, obviously, being an old man.
Yeah, I wasn't quite watching it in the 1800s like you were playing it. But, I'm a seasoned watcher of the FA Cup now. Was it Arsenal that were the victorious team in the year that you got the runners-up medal, Flash?
Yeah, the worst cup final. We played them in both the domestic cup finals, and they were the worst cup finals in the history.
Big headers from Andy Linegan, Steve Morrow, all the legends from back in the day.
Exactly.
And we're still going strong now with old Aubameyang and Lacazette behind me celebrating with the trophy just last summer. Record holders of the FA Cup, and hopefully we can win it again this season. It's going to be a tough road because a lot of the teams are really desperate for silverware, and the Premier League is so competitive now that you get elite teams fielding really strong lineups in the FA Cup. Whereas maybe 10 years ago, they didn't take it too seriously. But it's very, very serious piece of silverware now. And I expect a lot of the big teams to go through to the next round this weekend. And looking forward to the late stages of it.
Yeah, Man City plus 250 installed as favourites, but there's massive value, especially like with the first game that we're going to talk about, and I'll go on to that in a second. But you've got Man United at plus 1,200 in places. They get through this, then I got them down as being maybe second favourites. Liverpool plus 900. They get through this, they're going to be second favourites. So if you have got a lean, maybe don't go for them to win the game. Go for them to win it outright, and you're going to be way, way ahead of the game. Dave, I'm going to come to you first because it's the biggest game in the Premier League, and now we meet them again in the FA Cup. It was only last week, 0-0 at Anfield. Now we go to Old Trafford, and it's Man United plus 160. The draw plus 270, and Liverpool plus 170. Very, very tight game. Favour Man United.
Yeah, it is a tough one because you cannot even compare the game the other day to what is going to take place this weekend. We're going to see different squads. It was a draw the other day, and look, there's some factors that I did write down, and one of them is that Klopp sucks in the FA Cup. This guy just seems to have bad luck when it comes down to... Sorry, Flash, Karen.
No, I didn't say anything. You keep going, mate.
All right, yeah. Since he's been in charge at Liverpool, the FA Cup's been bad for him. Teams like Plymouth and Shrewsbury causing them problems. I think they got eliminated by West Brom and Wolves too, and they're just... I don't think they've actually got to a semi-finals or even close in a while. It's been a while. I know they haven't picked up this trophy for about 15 years. Yeah, I don't like Liverpool's chances, especially coming up against Man United. The results are always real close, always real tight. And yeah, it's the other day, Premier League, we know it's a completely different situation. And to be fair to Klopp, he's got some big cojones on him for coming into that game and putting two midfielders in defence. Liverpool can't do anything, and everyone's criticising the front three and the strikers for not providing the goals, but they're always going to continue to struggle when they're not being given the goods. They're not receiving the ball at a high rate like they used to. And look, these defences left countless time to regroup. Two key players they were missing the other day, Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, supplying that for the forwards. It just wasn't there. It's not going to be there at the weekend, but we're also going to see different squads, also from Man United and Liverpool. I think given the fact that it is two EPL sides going head-to-head in the FA Cup, maybe we'll see 4 first-team starters. I know that Klopp fielded 4 or 5 first-team starters against Villa in the 4-1 win against Villa, and he did bring them off. They were brought off. A few of them were brought off in around the 70th minute. So, you know, we're going to see the rotations. We don't know what the squads are going to be, but as of now, I like any team to take this game by a goal margin. I'm looking at the odds at 2.30. I think it's going to be a close one, a tight one. And although United and Liverpool have drew a lot over the previous years, when it comes to the FA Cup, not so much. So I think either team to win this by a goal at 2.30 is a great bet.
Yeah, plus 130 to a team to only get beat by 1 goal or win by the only goal. The big thing for me, Martin, is I see Man United have probably got more depth in quality in their squad at the moment, because the likes of Mason Greenwood can come in, Rashford can come in, Martial might not play. They've got the players. It's whether they perform. And Man United at plus 160, it looks like a decent bet.
Yeah, it does look like an attractive price on Man United. Just like you said, they've got a bigger squad right now due to the injuries that Liverpool have. That could go 2 ways, really, because, I mean, it could force Klopp to play Salah, Mane and Firmino up front, which is a pretty devastating attacking triumvirate when they're on song. Whether they'll be fatigued, I'm not sure. And sometimes when the likes of Curtis Jones come in, the performance levels do drop. But yeah, Man United definitely have more options right now. So I can see why it looks like a good price on them with the defensive crisis that Liverpool have. Don't really like this game too much, to be honest. Obviously, everyone was expecting a high-scoring clash last weekend, and it turned into a drab 0-0. I think it could be another tight game. Just like Dave says, a team to win it by a single goal does sound like a pretty good option to me. I wouldn't really feel comfortable betting on either team or on the goals market. So I'm probably going to pass this one, to be honest. I'm a bit more excited about Arsenal versus Southampton, to be honest. I know you're loving the mighty Saints, but I think Arsenal can go there and get a result. They drew with Southampton not so long ago when they were at their lowest point. Since then, Arsenal have improved significantly, and Southampton have regressed a little bit since then. So I think the likes of Saka and Martinelli, if they play, can go and take the game to Southampton. Looking at Arsenal, draw no bet in that one, which I like more than the Man United v Liverpool game.
Well, lads, you're not going for Southampton. We won't be covering that game then. Let's move on. I tell you what, a side that you do not want to go and travel against, especially in the FA Cup, is going to South London, and it's Millwall at plus 110, draw plus 225, Bristol City plus 270. Millwall, they've turned the corner. They're a tough side to play against. They've just come off the travelling 3 points. I see Millwall at plus 110. I can't see him getting beat, mine.
Yeah, it's not a fun away trip for a lot of fans. Those Millwall boys are quite rowdy, punching police officers and
Yeah,
all sorts of
why?
things. Yeah, stay away from the pubs in South London after those games. Yeah, they're in pretty good form right now. I do think these teams are pretty evenly matched. Bristol City are a decent side, very inconsistent with the results they have. But yeah, Millwall are on form right now. We would probably lean towards them. Looks like an interesting bet, but yeah, this isn't one of my selections either.
Again, I just see Millwall, Dave, being right up for the cup, and Bristol City, they're umming and ahhing in leagues. They can't afford injuries. They can't afford suspensions. I think I'm definitely, and I already have, I've took the plus 110 for the home side.
Yeah, listen, for this one, Millwall, they're a dirty, doggish side, and they will fight right to the last minute. You see this by the amount of draws that they've had this season. I've actually got family from Woolwich, and it's a good job that they are distant family, because we'd probably be fighting into our adult years. They're a wild bunch. Travelling there is awful. Going there for a game is awful. We beat them 2-1 a couple of weeks ago. I think luckily, we got that result. Coventry got that result. But nothing more than a red card happening, unfortunate for Millwall. But this clash, I think when it comes to betting this game, just look at Millwall this season. As I mentioned, the draws they're really up there. I think they're close to 11 or 12 draws this season, and now they're facing a side in Bristol City where they can take a draw at the minimum. So involving the draw market, I do like, whether that be draw no bet on Millwall or double chance. I'm not sure on what them odds are, because I'm not betting this game personally. But I definitely prefer Millwall to get something out of this, whether it be a draw or a win. I don't see Bristol coming away with a win.
Yeah, I think the only way you play it on the value side of things is Millwall or nothing. I've gone with Millwall. Harry Doherty's in there. He's moaning again. He's 21 today. He should be happy. And he's like, the first thing he says, why are some of the games not being covered? Because there's so many games, Harry, and I can't cover them all. If you've got a game you want covered, then put it in the chat, and then I'll ask the boys. And please, smile. It's your birthday. Moving on.
Hey, Harry.
Happy birthday, bud.
Exactly. Barnsley, plus 220. Draw, plus 225. And Norwich at plus 125. Now, if this was a league game, Norwich, there might be tips on, Dave. Flying, absolutely flying, but now it's the FA Cup, and this could be a little bit of an upset.
Yeah, listen, Norwich, they are flying high. More than likely, they'll be back to the Premier League next season, and now they've got a Barnsley squad who have turned it around of recent, and their results are not terrible. They're not in a terrible position in the Championship, but just look at the history between the two sides. These clubs, it doesn't fare well for Barnsley in this encounter. The last 10 times I've played each other, I think Barnsley have collected 1 win, with Norwich taking 8 of those. Once again, we have to look at the team news. Barnsley do have a few injury issues, so that's not good for them coming up against the best team in the league. And look, Norwich do well in the FA Cup. I think it was last season they reached the 4th round, or it may have even... No, they got to the quarters, right, last season. Yeah, the quarters against United. So Norwich, they fare well in this competition, and I like their chances, I really do. And given the fact that the odds are so high, we can take some insurance, and I really like the draw no bet market on Norwich. I don't see no way they lose this game. So at the minimum, we'll see a draw. But I think they're going to take a win, and I think they're going to win to nil, so a 2-0, 1-0 type of game for me.
Okay, and the other way I look at this game, Martin, is it's a pure football match. I see cards being under. If the line's anywhere near 5, you go under, because these boys are going to play pure football. Do you see any value in the hosts?
No, I don't see any value in the hosts. I don't rate Barnsley that highly, to be honest. I was surprised they started the season as well as they did. Lost 3 on the bounce. Now, if this was a game in the Championship, I would happily be betting on Norwich. I think they're the vastly superior team. Kept the bulk of the squad that went down from the Premier League last season, and I fully expect them to bounce straight back up to the top flight. The likes of Buendia, just too quality for this division. I bet on Watford to beat Barnsley last time out, actually, and they got a 1-0. Barnsley Barnsley just don't score enough goals for me. My only concern with this game is that I'm not sure what Norwich's motivation levels will be like. The main thing for them is winning the Championship and going back up to the top flight. They might rest a few players for this game, whereas Barnsley are kind of hovering mid-table, and they can afford to give it a bit more concern. They're probably not going to go up. They're not going to go down. They can put a bit more effort into it. Having said that, I still do like Norwich. I'm happy to bet on Norwich draw no bet for now, just like Dave. If I see a good Norwich lineup before the game starts, I'll just go for Norwich outright win.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably the game where you check that lineup. And if you see the likes of Cantwell and you see the likes of Pookie and you see that their spine is right, then you jump on it, because they probably go minus 110 from a starting price of around plus 125. Okay, here's a game where flip a coin, and whatever your opinion is, I'm not saying that you're wrong, because you've got Fulham at plus 120, full of athletes. They're pushing sides right for the whole 93, 94 minutes. Draw plus 225. And Burnley at plus 220. Now, take into account that Burnley are travelling to Liverpool 3 days prior to this game. So now, are Burnley going to make wholesale changes? Have they got the squad to make wholesale changes? I can't split these two sides, Martin. When I can't split them, I think the value is on the draw.
Yeah, this is a horrible game, Flash. Why did you choose this for the list?
Because I've gone for the draw, and it's great value for our guests.
Both of these teams need this game like they need a hole in the head.
Exactly.
They're both battling relegation. The last thing either of them needs is a cup run. Yeah, it could end up in a draw, because it's like both of them are trying to lose. They'll both put out a weakened team. They'll both try and conserve their energy for the Premier League. And yeah, it might be an unders game, might be a pretty dull game. Both trying to lose, and yeah, it could end up in a draw and they'll have to go to extra time or something. So could be counterproductive in the end. Can't imagine it's going to be a particularly entertaining game, and don't think I'll watch this one.
Fulham have got a really, really good and, well, I'd say maybe above average youth set up. So many of their players do find their way into professional football, Dave, and if some of them get a run out, it's a chance for them to shine.
Yeah, I think they'll get a run out, definitely. You look at the last squad that Fulham put out in the FA Cup, it was, I only noticed Mitrovic in there, to be honest. They're down in the relegation zone. Burnley are hovering just above it. Each club, they both have the potential to beat that relegation zone, and I think that's going to be their main focus. The Cottagers, they've been tough to beat in recent weeks. Turned it around slightly in their performances. And if I'm going to back a side, I'll probably lean Fulham just because of the home advantage, probably. It's tough, and that's why I'm staying away in terms of betting this one. I think the big question is with a few of these games is what lineup is going to be announced when they're both in a relegation dogfight right now. So they want to preserve their status in the Premier League over taking an FA Cup run, because I think both teams know they're not going to pick up the FA Cup. So may as well drop out now and save yourself in the Premier League, to be honest.
Yeah, I just feel as it's a really tight game, and at the draw, I think you're going to get 90 minutes worth of value. Listen, you might get beat 1-0, you might get beat 2-1, but I think with 10 minutes to go, this is going to be a really, really tight game.
Or the under, actually, you could look. I'm not sure what the price is on the under, but under 2.5, I think pretty much.
Yeah, listen,
I hate to say lock, but
no, I think you're on the maybe even draw at halftime. I think it's going to be a tight start anyway. Again, it's a lineup check. Now, if we go to South Yorkshire and Sheffield United, who are desperate for a win, they're at minus 220, draw plus 400, and Plymouth at plus 680. Now, here is the big conundrum. As a manager, do you play a team to gain confidence, continuity, and to score a few goals because you haven't scored enough? Or do you know you need everybody fit, give them a week off, and then that brings in Plymouth giant killing at plus 680, Martin?
I'm going for the former of those two options, actually. I think a morale-boosting win would be good for Sheffield United right now. They're marooned at the bottom of the table. It's looking highly unlikely that they're going to beat relegation this season. A cup run could lift the mood around the club, could relieve a bit of the pressure on Chris Wilder. I think he'll rest a few players, but I still think he can put out a decent side here, and they can go and beat Plymouth. It's not like Sheffield United are full of fancy Premier League players that don't like to battle for every ball. They're still a well-drilled, organised team that can really take the fight to lower league opposition. I don't think they'll be outfought or outrun in this one. I think they'll really go for it. And you would just expect them to have too much quality for Plymouth in the final third of the pitch. Plymouth aren't having a great season in League One, and I think Sheffield United will go on and win this game. Don't think it's going to be a massive scoring game, so I've gone for the old classic bet, Sheffield United and under 4.5 goals.
Seems like the best way to go, to be fair, Dave. But if this was down at Home Park, then Plymouth wouldn't be plus 680. I like looking at things like that. I'm just thinking, is Plymouth plus 1.5? Is that value?
I don't think so. See, Sheffield, they're one of them teams, they do get up for the FA Cup. Historically, I think the club, they enjoy the FA Cup. They like going as far as they can. I'll never forget being a kid. They knocked my Coventry out. I travelled to see them. I must have only been 9 years old. They knocked us out of the quarterfinals many moons ago. They reached the quarters last season too. Correct me if I'm wrong. I like Sheffield in this game. Obviously, this season has been terrible. They were breaking records, ridiculous records, consecutive losses starting a Premier League season. They beat that record going all the way back to 1915 or something like that. So, yeah, it has been rough for Sheffield, but this is a perfect draw for them in the FA Cup. I think they can fully take advantage in this game, and I like them to win this comfortably, and that's why I like the half-time, full-time, because you're going to take them straight. Not much value in that, obviously. Premier League side at home, they're at the bottom of the league, but they are still EPL, and they've got a Plymouth side who, they might be tricky, but I don't think they're going to take Sheffield United out of the cup at this stage. And I like the half-time, full-time at even money.
Yeah, I tell you what it is with Sheffield United. It's all about coming out the traps. Don't give them any advantage. Whenever you play in the FA Cup in these early rounds, you have to match them, and then your quality will shine through. You've got to stamp all over them. Don't give them any inkling of encouragement. And Sheffield United, they are old school. Obviously, my friend is the manager. He will be right up for it. And I guess some players will be thinking, this is my opportunity to get into this team that's not doing very well at the moment. Now we're going to go from South Yorkshire. We're going to go to South Wales. And this is my absolute banker in the FA Cup. It's Swansea at plus 120. I got plus 110. Draw plus 250. And Nottingham Forest at plus 240. My reasons for Swansea: under the radar, only let in 13 goals in a championship that is the most competitive in the world. I don't care who you are. You keep clean sheets in that championship. They just beat Watford 2-1 less than 2 weeks ago. They're playing Forest side who can't put back-to-back performances together. Their squad is not big enough or good enough. And also Forest, they leak goals. They've let in more than double Swansea. Swansea have a real raw manager in Steve Cooper, who only played in the Welsh lower leagues. And now he's going to be the next Eddie Howe, they're telling me, Dave.
Yeah, and do you know what? Look, remember the dramas of the dramatic finish the last season when that final day collapse in that playoff race had them sat fourth bottom. So look, this time, FA Cup is Swansea. I think you're perfectly correct in your opinions on this one, Flash. Swansea won 6 of their previous 9 home games, and they've scored twice in each of them games, and they don't let goals in. Conceding 13 goals, as you mentioned, in the Championship is extremely rare. It doesn't happen, and if you can keep your defences tight like that, you're probably going to see yourself in the EPL next year. Automatic promotion could be good for them, but even a playoff spot, defending like that, they should do great. They beat Forest earlier this season 1-0, and that was at Forest. So I see another comfortable win here. They'll probably get more than one this time round, 2 or 3-0 for Fulham. I don't think Forest are going to get on the score sheet whatsoever. So yeah, that's about it for that game.
I've also put Swansea team total over 1.5, Martin. I think if they score 2, they win the game. So if I'm getting plus 110, shop around because you can get 120, then I don't have to look any further.
Yeah, once again, this is a game. If it was being played in the Championship, I'd be all over Swansea. They're a far better team than Forest, who are dreadful this season. Again, neither of these teams really needs a cup run. Swansea are battling for promotion. Forest are fighting relegation. I've got to see the lineups. If it's a strong Swansea team and they're really going for it, I'll bet on them. But ideally, I'd want to see the first 5-10 minutes in play of this game before betting on it. Right now, as things stand, I'm not going to give any tips on this one.
Okay, well, let's go from South Yorkshire to South Wales to the South Coast. And the South Coast is Brighton at -220. A lot of people look at it and go, well, I'll tell you what, I'm not complicating it. I'll go with the Premier League side and just put it in a parlay. I mean, you could go Brighton -220 and Sheffield United -220 if you fancy them two sides. Draw +375 and Blackpool +700. First of all, Blackpool's like 3 weeks away from the South Coast. Brighton don't let in many goals. This is an opportunity for their players, who are far superior, to get themselves back a little bit of confidence. But I tell you what, at the back, Martin, they are right.
Yeah, battle of the seaside towns. I'm on the South Coast actually, and I have to admit my bias. I think it's a nicer town than Blackpool. But it'll be an interesting game between these two teams. There is a slight risk that Blackpool could go and pull off a giant killing in this one. There's always one team, isn't there? There's always one lower league team that sticks it to a Premier League.
Yeah, but they're playing Chelsea.
What?
Chelsea are playing a lower league side. That's where the giant killing will be.
Oh, okay, we'll have to see what Rude Boy thinks of that. He's been saying that Coventry are better than Arsenal, so they must be a lot better. They must be a lot better than Chelsea then. Yeah, Brighton v Blackpool. I'm still going to bet on it. I'm still going to bet on Brighton and under 4.5 goals. I still think Brighton have got quite a lot of expensively priced attackers that they've bought over the past couple of seasons that can't get in the starting 11 in the Premier League, and it's a real chance for them to come into the team and shine in this game, like Jahambaks and all those lot. So I think they should be too strong. Again, I think it could be a bit of a dull game. I'm going for under 4.5 goals for a bit more value. Bit concerned about a giant killing, but still happy to go with Brighton in this game.
I think you're on the right road. I mean, I thought Brighton, they win the game, no doubt. It's now then how you get more value for being greedy, Dave. I mean, Brighton, they're going to be too good. It's just how do you get the value?
You get the value through a Blackpool getting a cheeky consolation goal, Flash. I think Brighton will take the win. I'm looking at a 2-1, 3-1 here. Look, they're the EPL killers, Blackpool. They took the mighty West Brom out in the last round with penalty kicks, 2-2 draw in normal time. And then we look at Brighton in their last 5 FA Cup matches. Both teams have scored in 3 of them games, and then both teams have scored in 4 of Brighton's last 5 home games. They're not doing too well at avoiding a goal at home. And look, Blackpool are no giant killers. I'm joking, right? They got a bit lucky against West Brom, but that's something for them to get up for. And I do like their chances of scoring at least. Brighton were taken to penalties in the 3rd round against a League 2 side in Newport County. So, I rate Blackpool higher than I do Newport. And even though Brighton may put out a slightly stronger squad, it's still going to be a complete jumble of players on that pitch. And look, I think Blackpool will get a sneaky one. I think I agree with you guys that Brighton will walk away with a victory. But yeah, I see Blackpool getting on the score sheet at least, and a Brighton win and both teams to score is probably giving some juicy odds. So I wouldn't argue that play either. Wow,
we're on the opposite sides. We've gone completely the opposites, because I've gone with Brighton to win to nil at +145. I just thought that the only thing I can guarantee about Brighton is they're going to be organised, they keep the ball, and they're solid at the back. Now, obviously, you've just put a pin in my balloon, Dave. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking
it's the Newport game that gets me. Newport,
though they're horrible, aren't they?
Yeah, it's I just think Blackpool get a sneaky goal. That's it.
Okay.
I do think.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on because you're killing me. Okay, the last game, Dave. What I'm going to do is after these games that we've gone through, I'm going to ask the boys if they've got any other games they like bets in, and then we'll throw it open to the floor. If there's any games that I've not mentioned that you would like to mention, and I'll ask the boys, then put it in the chat. Don't be moaning afterwards that we've not mentioned it, because here's your opportunity. Also, 58 you watching, 25 thumbs up. Any chance that's under 50%? It's about 46%. Come on, sort yourselves out. West Ham minus 350 could be part of a 3-team parlay if you fancy Sheffield United and Brighton. West Ham minus 350, draw plus 500, and Doncaster at plus 1100. Dave.
Good old Donny, eh? West Ham, prior to 2021, they were looking a bit dodgy in defence, but since the turn of the new year, their defence has switched up. We've been seeing unders and clean sheets from West Ham, which is a real turnaround. They fielded four first-team players versus Stockport in the last round. That was enough for Antonio up front to bag a goal. That's all they needed. After a dodgy December, the improvement in West Ham's defence for me is what will make the difference. David Moore's got to be buzzing. I feel like West Ham, collecting the trophy for them wouldn't be a bad thing. And they have a good chance. They really do. With Doncaster, League One team, they're going to struggle. They have a lack of goals in their league, let alone against the Premier League side. So within that 90 minutes, I don't expect them to get much out of this game. I've got confidence in the Hammers. I think that the half-time, full-time betting market is going to give you some better value than, trying to take them straight up. And if you don't like parlays, accumulators, it's a good way to bet this game, in my opinion. That's just a West Ham win. They're going to be winning at half-time, winning at full-time, and sail on into the next round.
Martin, Doncaster, I'll tell you now, they are full of footballers. But the one thing that gives the Premier League the side is the size, strength, athletic bodies. They are massive compared to these lads at Donny. Maybe an Alex Classic if you wanted to go. I think Donny score, but I can see it being 2-1, 3-1. Now, 3 years ago, I'll just go with Donny blind, double chance, plus 1.5, because West Ham just never turned up. You have to get rattled into them. But now they seem to have a resolve within them that they just kill games off.
The mighty Donny Rovers are doing pretty well in League One, actually.
They score goals.
Yeah,
they score goals.
They're the best defensive team in the League One, I think.
Yeah, they've won. They've won 12 out of 20, haven't they? And they do have, a very good defensive record.
They're well organised. They are well organised. You could see this being draw at the half-time.
They're decent, but I just think I think West Ham are going to overwhelm them. West Ham are the sort of team that I always look for when I'm betting on the FA Cup. A team that are about mid-table in the Premier League. They're above mid-table. They're having a very good season, actually, West Ham. They're a lot more solid at the back than we've seen in recent years. And they've got a lot of attacking firepower. Even if Antonio doesn't play in this game, they've got a lot of good wingers that can come in, the likes of Yarmolenko, Jared Bowen. I think that Saeed Benrahma. They're not going to win the league. We know that. They're not even going to get in the Champions League or Europa League places. They're going to go for a comfortable mid-table finish. So they can afford to throw everything into going on a long cup run and really trying to win this competition. I think he'll put out a decent side, and I honestly think they can blow Doncaster away in this game, or Doncaster, as they say in Yorkshire. So I'm going West Ham and over 2.5 goals.
Okay, over 2.5 goals. Yeah, I still think the Alex Classic's involved there as well. Okay, so we've gone through them games. Now, the boys in the chat have just asked, and we'll quickly brush on them. Dave or Martin, I don't mind who goes first. Brentford versus Leicester, any thoughts?
Leicester to beat Brentford. Yeah, I know they're flying high in the Premier League.
Good side, Brentford.
Good side, but nah.
And it's at Brentford.
Brentford have lost a few key players, Ollie Watkins, Said Benrahma in recent seasons. I know they've still, in the summer. I know they've still got a decent team, but they still harbour ambitions of getting promoted from the Championship this season. Leicester are obviously in the mix for the title. I think Brendan Rodgers at the back of his mind knows that Leicester probably aren't going to finish ahead of Man City in the title race. But on their day, Leicester can beat anyone. Leicester are a very good team. I think they can, if they really dedicate themselves to winning the FA Cup, they could do it. They can beat the big teams. And they've got good strength in depth. They can bring in good players, and I think they can go and beat Brentford. So I'm going for Leicester in this one.
So the likes of Iheanacho coming in for Vardy, you're not worried about. And also, you've got to remember about these Premier League sides. We've got a midweek card next week, Tuesday and Wednesday next week. They're all going to have one eye on that. And I'm just wondering, I think that this could be, I personally think that you could take a shot at Brentford, maybe +1 or even double chance. Dave, any thoughts on that one?
The Championship's even more congested. The season's even more congested. They've got an extra 8 games to play. They're playing in the Championship as well.
Oh, I know.
Iheanacho's on the radar for RB Leipzig.
Is Damari Gray still at Leicester? There's a good question, isn't it? That's almost like a pub quiz question now. Everyone's been saying what a brilliant player he is for the last 5 years, and no one even knows where he is. Another one I was right with when I told him we shouldn't have bought him.
Yeah, he played Leicester. Yeah, still playing.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know, does he? Because I never see him. Unless he's injured, and then I'm sorry. Everton, Sheffield Wednesday, home win, Dave.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a struggle to go into Everton and collect any sort of result, I guess. Touching on the game you were just talking about, though, I do actually agree. I think a cheeky shock win there. I mean, all of these results this weekend, they're not going to all go to the EPL squads. We can't be backing all of them. And Brentford have been defeated at home since around October or September. So they're a tough side, especially at home. It's going to be all dependent on how serious Leicester are taking this FA Cup run, what type of squad they're going to be fielding, and if it is maybe a younger squad, how much they care. I'm not too sure, but a cheeky Brentford win there, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But back to Everton and Sheffield, I think a low score and this type of clash. Everton's not going to have their full squad, but I think they're going to have a strong enough squad to take out Wednesday. I just don't expect many goals from this one. I'd be looking at maybe an under if you're sick of picking a side and losing value on the EPL squads. I wouldn't expect anything more than a 1 or 2-0 win for Everton in this game.
Yeah, and I'd go for Czech Tucson to come on and score. I don't fancy Calvert-Lewin scores, although he's a young boy. He can definitely handle it. But remember, the midweek card in the Premier League, some teams are going to have an eye on it. The other thing is, Brentford won't show no respect, by the way, towards Leicester. Brentford, they push, they smooth that ball around. They are going to be all over them like a rash. I certainly expect both teams to score. So we're trying to give you all different types. Dave, have you got any other games you wanted to quickly talk about?
I mean, I think Wolverhampton, they're going to walk away with the win, finding the value there. It's another game where I think it's going to be low scoring. These EPL sides, they're going to be looking for a goal, I feel, and then they're just going to try and sail on for the rest of the game, remove any key players if they're fielded. It's the type of game where I see a small win, just like the Everton one, 1 or 2-0 in favour of the EPL side. So when you're making your selections and your favourite EPL sides this weekend, just look to combine them with other markets like the unders and the overs. For this one I'm talking about, I'd like to take Wolves and the under 2.5. Same with the Everton game, Everton and the under 2.5, because I don't see real high-scoring games for the Premier League sides that are going to win, just based on the efforts they're going to be wanting to put in with the schedule that's coming up this week.
Okay, one team I do expect to win and win heavily is Chelsea against Luton. I think you go Chelsea -2 on the Asian handicap. The players they're going to bring in, are you sure? They're like international players. And listen, their whole squad is absolutely top draw. I think that Frank Lampard's going to use this game again to get the confidence up. Maybe Havertz, definitely Werner. I'd play Giroud. they score a minimum team total over 2.5 goals for me. They score 3 goals in that game. So you go with Chelsea to win -2, or you go with team total over 2.5. Any other bets for you, Martin?
No, that was the one I was going to mention as well. Chelsea to destroy Luton. It's a huge game for Frank Lampard. He is desperate for a win. Their league form has been horrific. He's feeling the pressure. And like you said, he's got a immense squad at his disposal. They're underperforming right now, but he's got world-class players that he can bring into the side. Really high-quality attackers that can rip Luton to shreds if they put their minds to it. So, yeah, I'm also inclined to give them a -2 Asian handicap in that game. Also got a news alert for you. Bayer Leverkusen in advanced talks to sign Damari Gray.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
There's your answer. Is off to Germany.
Wow. I bet they're in advanced talks. I tell you what, head of recruitment, he's going to have his head rolling, by the way. But there again, he's coming out of the Jadon Sancho role, just a lot worse and just overhyped. Okay, the other game was Wickham versus Spurs. Now, Wickham didn't score for like the first 10 games of the season. Now they're starting to get a little bit going. But Spurs, come on now. If their attitude's right and they've got the right team, both teams to score, no. Dave, any quick thoughts?
I don't like this game. From the London side, I much prefer the Chelsea fixture that you just spoke on. I don't know where Mourinho's head's at. I really don't. Does he want to win this? I don't know.
Loves a trophy, though, doesn't he?
I'm pretty sure Spurs. I think they're going to be. It's going to be a 3-day or 4-day turnaround. So this is just. It's all over the place. They're scoring, that's for sure. Wickham are scoring, and there might be another one where I feel like both teams can score if the price is right. I'm not saying that Tottenham are going to lose by any means, but some of these teams that they're going to score, and because it is an EPL side versus either a Championship or a League One team. Both teams to score value is just rising. So actually, I'm trying to look for the both teams to score market, but I can't find it as I'm talking to you, so I apologise. But I do. That's both teams to score. I think Wickham, Tottenham with a Tottenham win.
Wow! Again, it's a lineup check for sure. Okay, let's have a little look at the picks. We haven't. Oh, okay. Now before we go for the picks, sorry, Fab. Southampton versus Arsenal. Both teams to score, yes. Alex Classic, yes. I just see goals in the game. Who wins? Don't know. Sure. That's why they're both at plus money. You're going to go with Arsenal, Martin?
Yeah, Arsenal got a terrific record in this competition, as they prove year in, year out, even when they're not playing that well in the league. Keep winning the FA Cup, won it several times in recent years. And like I said, they drew with Southampton, about 3-4 weeks ago when they were at their lowest ebb. Since then, they've really improved, and I'd say Southampton have gone backwards a little bit. They haven't got the largest squad for me, Southampton. I think they want to concentrate their focus on the league. This is a big deal for Arsenal. They always get up for the FA Cup. Arteta knows how much it means to the club. And yeah, it gives them an opportunity to hopefully win some silverware. They're not going to get anywhere close to winning the league title. So yeah, Arsenal draw no bet for me. Could go to extra time or something like that. Could be a draw in 90 minutes. But I'm definitely leaning towards Arsenal in this match. Yeah, I think they've got a good chance. I'm not sure about both teams to score, to be honest, because Arsenal games are just so boring to watch.
Southampton score. Don't worry about that. Southampton always score against Arsenal.
I'm not 100% convinced.
Okay.
Both teams to score.
Yeah, both teams to score. All the Alex Classic. Right then, Fab, let's get these picks up. Let's see where the boys are actually going. Okay, Martin's picks. Could be here a while. Norwich, draw no bet, -123. Sheffield United to win and under 4.5 at -133. West Ham to win and over 2.5 goals at +100. Leicester, -133 away at Brentford. Wow. Arsenal, draw no bet, -130. That's a bigger wow. And Brighton to win and under 4.5 at -128. Dave's picks. Sheffield United half-time, full-time found great value there for the Blades to come out the traps at +100. Norwich draw no bet -130. Brighton both teams to score -125. Don't like it. West Ham half-time, full-time -108. And Liverpool or any team to win by 1 goal margin at plus 130. So that's Man United or Liverpool to win the game by just the solitary goal. Flash's picks: Swansea plus 110, that's my banker. Millwall plus 110. Fulham draw plus 230. And Brighton win to nil at plus 145. Well, let me tell you now, Brighton win to nil plus 145, or Brighton both teams to score at minus 125. One of us is going to be right. Okay. If you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means that we can notify you and you'll never miss any content again. Fab, are you going to leave that graphic up there for a week or? Thank you very much. If you press ring the bell, then we'll notify you and you'll never miss any content again. Also, press the link in the description. That'll take you over to all the articles by either Martin or Dave or Tan or Alex or all the other sports that we covered on SBR. They all have articles, so get yourselves over there, please. And press the button. Press the thumbs up. Turn it blue. Don't mind if you want to turn this one blue. I've never seen this one go blue. What happens if you press the thumbs down? Rude boy, you normally press the thumbs down. So what colour does it go? La Liga. Tomorrow morning we'll be with Paco and with Martin Green. There's plenty good games, by the way, also this afternoon. It's Valencia, the second leg of the La Liga parlay. Come on, Valencia. We need you. Dave, look forward to seeing you again soon. I fancy we might be doing an FA Cup 5th round.
Yeah.
Good luck with your UFC, mate. There's no one better than you. I don't care what anybody says.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Take care.